How to overcome fear and anxiety in 30 seconds. Be confident. Okay, so I'm doing this video and you probably are under the assumption that I've always been confident. That's not true at all. As a matter of fact, I was really shy as a young man, and I wouldn't even stand up in class and read apart from a book in class. I was so shy, I just couldn't do it. I grew up in a really bad neighborhood, so there was always a lot of fear because you never knew what was going to happen. You know, were you going to get attacked, were you going to get robbed? So I would put on this facade of being tough, right, because I had to get through that neighborhood. Now if you've got some fear and anxiety, you're going to want to watch this video to the very end because it could really help you out, and we're starting right now. Now I want to share a story with you. I want to take you back a number of years. At one point I was in a business where I was one of the sales managers, and I wasn't the highest level sales manager. As a matter of fact, I was just one of the regular managers there, and we had a sales force, and the guy who actually ran this business, who was the general manager, did all the sales meetings, which was great because I didn't want to get up and talk. I couldn't talk in front of people. That was too difficult for me because I was too shy to do that. One-on-one I was fine. Talking in a group like that I just couldn't do. Well, it turned out one day that he was going to retire. He was going to move on, and I had an opportunity to actually get his job, but there was a big obstacle there. The big obstacle was I had to stand up and I had to talk because I would have to do the sales meetings, and I knew I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do that. That would just blow my mind. I couldn't do that. I couldn't stand in front of these people and talk. So I wanted the job really bad, so I decided I was going to try to figure out how I could actually speak in front of people. So every day I would get up early, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would go to a Toastmasters International meeting, and they made you stand up and do speeches in front of people on different subjects, and I would do that every single day to the point where I actually got good at it, started winning awards at it, and I built up enough confidence so that when he actually retired, I did get his job and I became the general manager. Now I share that story with you because things can change, right? You can change yourself. There's things you can do to make yourself more confident, but how do you do that? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to tell you is that number one, fear is a natural thing. It's a natural thing. Everybody has fear. Fear is in every human being on the face of the earth, and it's there for good reason, because if you didn't have fear, you couldn't protect yourself, right? When you saw a dangerous situation, if you never had fear, right, you could get hurt, you know, you could get injured. If you go back to when, you know, there were wild animals and we were living in caves, if you didn't know to be fearful, if you didn't know to run, okay, you could get hurt. But fear itself does not really exist. There's no such thing as fear. What it is fear is an emotion. Fear comes out of your thoughts, right? It doesn't come out of a real thing, okay? So, you know, a broken arm is a real thing. Fear is not really a real thing. It's an emotion. It's how you're reacting to whatever situation's there. And it's super important that you understand this up front, that fear is just an emotion, and emotions can be controlled. Okay, so that's what we want to do with fear and anxiety, is we actually want to change it. Now how do we change an emotion? Well, the only way you can change an emotion is through physiological changes. So your physiological changes actually control your emotions. Now I want you to think about when you're fearful, when you're anxious, when you're scared, and you know, what do you like at that moment? Okay, you're probably closed, you know, bodied. You may have your arms crossed, you may be leaning down, you may keep your head down, you may walk in a hunched over manner, and this here is what causes that fear. It's your physiological response to whatever that situation is. Maybe it's you got to go out on stage and talk, maybe it's you got to go through a scary neighborhood, you know, whatever it is, that's what's causing that emotion of fear. And keep in mind, emotions are reactions to situations, you know, and your brain causes this fear factor thing. So how do you change it? What do you do? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to understand what fear is. Since it is an emotion, it can be caused by external forces. It can be caused by, you know, your spouse. It can be caused by your boss, your kids, the economy, interest rates. You know, all these things can cause this reaction of fear and anxiety. But you got to understand that these are all external things that you can't change. So, you know, if the interest rates get really high, I don't think, unless you're in charge of the Federal Reserve, I don't think you can change the interest rates. I don't think you can change the economy, and it's equally difficult to change other human beings, such as your boss or your kids or your spouse. All you can really do is you can react to that situation in a different way. And I don't mean saying, well, I'm not fearful, because that normally doesn't work. You literally have to change what your physiology is. You have to change what your body is. Now, the thing to remember is that emotion is created by motion, okay? Emotion's created by motion. So if you change your motions, if you change how you stand and how you hold your shoulders and how you lift up your head and how you walk, you're going to disintegrate that fear. You actually really will, but you have to physically take it on first. So what you have to really do is you have to experience the fear and then check your body, check your self-talk. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, oh my God, this is a super dangerous neighborhood, I need to really worry? And it could be a super dangerous neighborhood, and maybe you need to worry about that stuff, but you do not want to appear fearful. You can't appear fearful, because then you would become a target in that neighborhood. And I actually learned all this growing up in my neighborhood, right? We learned how to come across tough and mean, because if you didn't, you would look fearful, and if you look fearful, you're going to be a target. So you didn't want to be a target. So the first thing I'll tell you is, let's say you were confident. Let's say you were confident in, a particular neighborhood. Let's say it was a super nice neighborhood and it was beautiful outside, and there were no crime around you. How would you physiologically be? How would your walk be? What would your shoulders be? Would your head be held up? And you got to get into that frame of mind. Okay, same thing if you're going out on a stage and you need to talk to a large group of people, and let's say you were super confident about it. How would you walk out on that stage? How would you hold your shoulders? How would you hold your arms? Would you be looking down, or would you have your head up? And you have to get into that physical being. If you get into that physical being and you start doing it, what happens is your brain starts to shift, and it says, oh, okay, my body's doing this, so I must not be fearful anymore, because physiologically his body is saying he's confident, so I must be confident. And this actually will work. You've got to force yourself to do this. I know it's a crazy thought, and I had to learn it myself, because I was that kid who wouldn't stand up in class and even read from a book. I was too scared, too nervous, and I ended up becoming a professional speaker on down the road, speaking to hundreds of people. So it was all in fake confidence. Now you say, well, gosh, I can't fake confidence. You can fake confidence, actually. You can change the way you stand, the way you look, the way you feel, if you change your physiology first. Now, I'll tell you this is not something to only be practiced when you're fearful, okay? It's not something like that. You need to practice this throughout the day, okay? If you're in a grocery store, if you're driving your car, if you're buying a sandwich, say, I'm going to go up to the counter and I'm going to be a very confident person, and I'm going to hold my shoulders up and I'm going to hold my head up, and I'm going to drop my arms. I'm going to not do a protection type stance, and I'm going to go order my food with confidence. In a situation like that, you're probably not fearful, but you may not be coming across confident. And if you do this, several times a day, whether it's going to the gym, and some people are nervous to even go to the gym. They feel like everybody's looking at them. They feel like, there's problems around them. They feel like they may not look right, but if you go into the gym and act confident, people will notice the confidence. It doesn't matter, how much weight you can lift, or, what your body shape is. If you come across confident, people get it. They see it. And you'll be surprised, a lot of your fear that you're having now is unfounded. In other words, you may be fearful of what people think of you, and they're not even thinking about you. They're thinking about their own situation. They're thinking about their own fears, their own problems. So, changing this fear, this anxiety thing, understand it's just an emotion. It's an emotion to your thoughts, and your thoughts come from what you see around you, and you got to get a handle on it. I will tell you, your life will open up so much more. You'll be so much more free to do so many other things. I know when I learned to do those sales meetings all those years ago, it's opened me up to a lot of things. I can speak in front of groups of people. Actually, it started a business for me. I actually went on the road and became, professional at training salespeople. So, it's amazing if you kind of push those fears. And I will tell you, probably the most important things you can do in life are the things you fear the most. Those are the things that are going to make you grow. Those are the things that are going to give you opportunities. Those are the things that will make you grow as a human, and more importantly, those are the things that will let you enjoy life more. Because if you do these things you're fearful of, you know, provided that it's not, you know, physical harm to your body, but if you do these things that you're fearful of, you will build a confidence, and that confidence in that one area, guess what it'll do? It'll spill over to other areas. You know, if you say, well, I can't speak in front of groups, and you learn to speak in front of groups, you know, you may find out that, you know, all of a sudden you can do other things. Maybe you could make videos, maybe you could write, maybe you could do other things, because you've gained that one confidence in that one area, and that will spill over to other parts of your life. You know, so I would suggest to you, try these things throughout the day. Try to change your physiology, try to change how you stand and you walk and how you look people in the eyes, and give them a smile, okay, be friendly, talk to a stranger every now and then. Oh my God, that's such a scary thing to do. It was so scary for me as a kid to talk to anybody, and now I have no problem talking to a stranger. And when you talk to these people, I will suggest that you act interested in them. Don't try to impress them with yourself. I think that's the number one mistake people make, is they say, well, I try to talk to people, but I just can't quite make friends, and I feel like people don't like me. And it's because you're trying to impress them with who you are. Don't do that. Ask them about their situation. Ask them about their family, their kids, their interests, where they went for lunch, or what if they think about something. Ask their opinions on things, and you'll find that a lot of people will start to like you, and you'll become less fearful, and you'll have less anxiety, and you'll enjoy life that much more. So take it to heart, guys. I was one of those people that was super shy, and I'm not anymore, because I know that fear is useless. It doesn't do me any good. Okay, nothing's going to hurt me out there. I'm not worried about any of those things, and guess what, they're not going to hurt you either. So try those things out. Give me your comments below. Tell me how this has worked out for you. Tell me what you've done. Tell me about some of your fears. I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments below. Now don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Subscribe below. Don't forget, ring the bell, turn on the bell notifications, turn on all notifications. You'll become part of the Fisher family, and then I can let you know when I do a new video or go live or something along those lines, and you'll find out before anybody else. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.